Is that my phone?
Yes.
God damn it, I swear, if it's my mom, she's always calling during recording.
Welcome to episode 8 of Booze Podcast.
I'm your host, Ollie.
And I'm Sam. And thank you for joining us for spooky season.
Yes. Man, I'm really sad that it's kind of coming to an end. I mean, the spooky season never ends for me. For us, really. I mean, we're spooky all year round, but it's the time where we can actually express ourselves comfortably.
Exactly. You know, so I don't have any kids, but I've been buying a whole bunch of Halloween crap. And I was at Walmart today, and I had bought some hooks for my bathroom because it looks like a crime scene and some skeletons. This lady comes up to me, and she goes, "Oh, you're a fun mom." I was like, "No, I just like spooky stuff."
See, you don't have to be a mom to be fun.
Yeah.
Well, that's weird. I don't know. I'm like, is that something people think? No, I don't think that. Not saying moms aren't fun. I have a fun mom. You could be a fun mom, but...
My mom's pretty fun, too.
Yeah, so I know Sam posted a picture of her Christmas tree, Halloween tree.
Yes.
So we'll have to post a picture of her bathroom because holy shit. It looks so good.
I have to go all out. It's just in my blood.
No, you really do go all out.
Thanks.
So, thank you for everyone who has liked and followed and
messaged us.
Yes, it makes me so happy. It really does.
You guys have been so supportive and so sweet, and it just warms my heart. Every time I see messages, I have happy tears. I'm like, oh, we're doing a good job.
Yes, thank y'all so much. All right, so last week we did a little something different. I feel like every time me and Sam get together, we have a laundry list of things that we're gonna do, and then we just record and go out to eat, and that's it.
Yeah.
But last week we did take the time to visit some spooky areas.
We went on a field trip.
We did, yeah. So it was a lot of fun.
We almost died.
Well, I think the only way we were close to death or harm was if one of us had accidentally tripped running, because in retrospect, there really was no danger.
There was lightning out.
It was lightning out, but really far. It wasn't above us. It'd be different if it were above us, because then
true.
We could potentially be struck by lightning.
Yeah, but we noped right out of there.
Oh, yeah. We were there for probably tops 4 minutes.
Yeah, the video was 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh, wait, we're talking about this place, and we didn't even say where we were. So, since we're located... Well, we record in San Antonio. We looked up a bunch of spooky places in San Antonio, which there are tons of places.
Some that we've hinted about previously.
This place, there's spooks everywhere. So we we started off at the Hot Wells, which we will talk about. Spoiler alert, that's my story. And then where did we go after?
We went to the Wonderful Pearl. Spoiler alert, the Hotel Emma's my story.
And then we ended our wonderful evening at the Donkey Lady Bridge.
And that was spooky.
Yeah, I turned into the lion from The Wizard of Oz. I was like, I don't believe, or I do believe in spooks. I do believe in spooks. I'm usually not a scared person, but it was just eerie.
Yeah, well, it was pitch black. There was no lights out. All we had was our iPhone lights.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I told Gabriel about it, and he was like, wow, y'all are the worst paranormal investigators. I'm like, we're not investigators. We just want to check it out.
But we did catch possibly something on the recording.
Yes, which we didn't hear anything. Okay, so we're going to talk about our little trip. We left the Pearl Brewery, the Pearl area, and
it was still light out when we left.
So we thought, okay, we're going to get there in time to just get there in time for it to be light out still. Maybe walk across the bridge, snap a few pics, and skedaddle. But by the time we got there, it was so dark
You could see, like, maybe, like, 5 feet in front of you, and that was it.
with the light. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like Sam said, it was lightning. There was a big storm. Let's see. We were south, so probably towards the west. Yeah, towards the west, there was a big storm, a brewing. So we could see it. So it was just really, it really
Eerie.
set the tone. So by the time we got out there, you couldn't see anything except with, like, the headlights on. And there was one person out there by himself,
As
just
soon
with
as he
his
saw
phone.
us, he just left.
Yeah, he just got in his car and left.
He probably thought we were out there doing drugs or something.
Oh gosh. No. Do we give off that vibe?
I don't know.
think
Apparently, I
so.
give off a mom vibe, so.
Yeah. Mom and her, I don't know, old sister.
Well, I've had people say you look like you would be my sister, so.
Yeah, we do look like we could be
Because
related.
we're just Hispanic, damn
So
it.
we're just brown.
Just a little brown.
Oh, my bad.
Oh.
Making noise over here. Okay. Well, so we go to the bridge. So just to describe it to y'all, if you're not from Texas or if you haven't been out there, you go out towards, like, the country. So really green, really lush. The trees kind of overlap each other, and there's just nothing but farmland. So we turn into this little farm road, and the trees, like,
They're almost like
touching
creating,
each
like,
other.
a little.
tunnel.
Yeah.
Like, so we go, and then, we park. There's a little parking area, but the bridge itself is gated off. I think they open it during the day, but at night they close it. Because supposedly it's kind of dangerous. People do go out there at night, and there are no lights. So it's a bridge, and you can hear the water flowing, which I like. I think that's really cool. But you found...
Yeah. It is on Applewhite Road in San Antonio, Texas, zip 78264.
Yeah, so if you want to check it out, go during the day or bring a flashlight.
Many flashlights. And someone with you. Don't go alone.
Yes, I would suggest that for sure. But yeah, no, we drove up, parked, and already I was like, let's roll down the window.
AFI Miss Murderer was playing.
We're full on effect. So yeah, and then that was it. That was the bridge. We recorded for about 4 minutes. I thought I was recording on my phone the whole time. I was not. But we weren't going to go back to re-record.
Fuck no.
It was good. Like, Sam was trying to walk out, and I was like, nope, I'm not walking across that thing. Because if you aren't familiar, of course, so we should probably tell the story of why it's so haunted.
I could read that short story I got from the Pearl about the donkey lady.
Oh, yeah, do that. We found a really awesome book.
Creepy creatures and other cuckoos.
So if you don't know what a kukui is, I don't even know a good definition. It's the darkness.
Like,
something that can get you, that's scary, that all Hispanic kids fear.
like the boogeyman, like something that's going to grab your feet while you're sleeping.
Yeah, like that's how we were disciplined as children.
With fear.
Like, don't do that or the kukui's gonna get you. I'm like, okay.
The donkey lady. It was already getting dark by the time Antonio finally left his cousin Lupe's birthday party and began his 70-mile drive down the stretch of old road known as Highway 107. He had planned to leave the party early, but he could not seem to break away from the fun of being with friends and family. He knew that it would be a good solid hour before he got to his dorm room at his college. Antonio did not like going down Highway 107 at night because, with the exception of one small convenience store, it was deserted until he reached the city of Edinburgh, Texas. Antonio, however, knew that he really needed to get some rest before his big chemistry test Monday morning, and it would be easier and less stressful for him to drive for 1 hour at night than to fight the morning traffic commute, which could truly be horrendous. "It sure is dark," commented Antonio to himself. "Dark and scary." No sooner had Antonio said those words than he caught the sight of a lady walking alongside the highway. What's anybody doing walking out here in the middle of nowhere this late at night, he wondered. Antonio decided to stop and see if the lady needed help. Perhaps her car had stalled. "Hey, do you need any help?" asked Antonio as he pulled up beside the lady. She gave no response. "It's okay," said Antonio. "I'm not gonna hurt you. I just want to help," he assured her. The lady then began to move closer to Antonio's car, her head bowed down as if to conceal her face. Look, lady, I'm sorry if I scared you," Antonio began to say, but cut his sentence short when the lady looked up at him and her face was the face of a donkey. The donkey lady gave out a loud and horrendous wail, just as Antonio slammed his foot down on the gas pedal. As he sped away, Antonio turned to look at his rearview mirror. "She's right behind me!" he cried out as he noticed the donkey lady had dropped down on all fours and was...
This is not what I read on the internet. We should probably have read the book before reading it.
Yep. That is the best mental image. Okay, sorry. He cried out as he noticed that the donkey lady had dropped down on all fours and was now giving chase, galloping as if she was a horse. The donkey lady seemed to be moving faster and faster. As impossible as it seemed, she was catching up to him. It did not seem to matter how fast Antonio was driving. The donkey lady just kept drawing nearer and nearer. Antonio caught sight of the convenience store that was coming up about a mile down the road and began to speed up even further in an attempt to reach the store and ask the clerk for help. Just then Antonio glanced by his side and saw that the donkey lady was running right beside his car. She bared her teeth at him in a menacing grin, and then her eyes began to smolder like red-hot embers. "Leave me alone!" cried Antonio. "Why won't you just leave me alone? I was only trying to help." At that moment, Antonio noticed that the donkey lady seemed to be moving slower. The closer he got to the lights of the convenience store, the more the donkey lady fell behind. Just as Antonio finished pulling into the convenience store parking lot, the donkey lady slowly disappeared into thin air. It disappeared into thin air. Never again did Antonio drive down Highway 107 so late at night.
Interesting take, Mr.
Xavier Garza.
Okay, Mr. Garza. That's interesting. Definitely a children's book take on the story.
Mm-hmm.
We did a little bit of research prior to going, and we found articles from like My Essay. There's another, I'll have to update our resources on that one, go back and find it. But some local paranormal experts had written about the Donkey Lady Bridge. And those stories say that way back, according to the Rivered Report, which shout out to some of my homies that work there, local myths date back to 1950s or the 1800s. So it's kind of all over the place. There aren't really solid accounts of this actually happening, but legend says that there was this house in that area where the bridge is located that burnt down. Some say that the husband who lived in the house killed everyone, killed the children, killed the children. The house burnt down. Others say that there was a stranger who came in and broke in and then burnt the house,
and murdered everybody.
But the mom and the wife in the home survived. But due to the fire, suffered from insane burns, so bad that they mutilated her body, and that's where she became, legend says that she resembled a donkey.
And that's because when the fire melted her hands, it melted them down to the stubs, and they almost resembled hooves. And her face, the way that it was burned, it elongated and just gave that donkey-like appearance. And supposedly everyone in the neighborhood made fun of her and was really mean to her about it, which is really fucked up.
And then other stories say that she drowned herself in the river. She fell in the river or drowned herself in the river due to all of this, the tragedy that struck her family.
And there is another obscure version where either the wife abuses a donkey or a stranger abuses the donkey and something happens to the woman because of the donkey's abuse that turns her into a donkey lady. That's a very obscure version of it that kind of rails off from the other stories, but thought we'd include that in there as well.
Okay, this is from the Rivered Report. Whatever the story, visitors to the old Applewhite Bridge just inside Loop 1604 near the intersection of Applewhite and Jet Road tell tales of hearing the horrifying braying of a donkey from the dark woods late at night, sometimes said to be the woman's ghost, sometimes an actual living creature. Either way, drivers are warned not to be surprised to find damage to their cars in the form of claw marks on the hoods, a cracked windshield, or even blood. We did not read that before we went out there.
No. I should go double check Officer Tubbs and make sure he doesn't have any dents.
Wait, what? Who?
Oh, my car's name is Officer Tubbs.
You've never said that before. I was like, who and what? But then the next line says, enter the Donkey Lady hotline.
What?
210-960-3826.
What's that? Give me my phone.
Wait, no. I just listened to an episode of Two Girls, One Ghost on cursed hotlines, so...
Oh.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, let me go.
Do you think the phone's going to interfere with the...
Can try. Oh. No, don't give it to me.
If someone answers, I'm going to hang up. I have phone anxiety.
Me too.
My shade was dripping stalactite cramping hands like whom I am a conjunto guy, chicken fry and sweet tea. Hola, San Antonio. I am the donkey lady. Maybe we've met before. Go back and hear more than I cuento. Like fish all the cheese man.
What? Wait, did you hit? Okay.
What the
Nice.
fuck was that?
That's great.
I had to put my... I don't think they're going to be able to hear that at all.
Oh man, I really hope so.
We're going to have to play it back.
That's so funny. Let's
What
see.
did she even say? Something about chicken fingers?
Fried chicken, and sweet tea. I think it was only supposed to be a project that was a week long. So each night, a new 45-second message awaits callers to the Donkey Lady hotline. But Barrera, I like what Barrera says in here. She says she's been through some chingazos. She's always fighting for what's right. She's funny, a merger of your tia, your abuelita, and your coworker. She's all of us, really. I like that. I wish I knew about this last year so I can call in every day and hear the story. But that's cool that it's still active. Anyways, but yeah, so that's fun.
That was interesting.
So that's the Donkey Lady Bridge in San Antonio, where some people do claim that they hear a woman, donkey woman crying, hear hooves or see scratches on their car.
But what we heard was a growl.
We did hear a growl. So when we were there, you can hear the cars zooming by. Like, you can clearly hear cars. And there's a point where Sam says, "Did you hear that?" And then the lightning strikes, and then we just book it. We just run. So we went home, played it back, and there's this weird sound in the background.
So first you hear the cars passing, and that kind of sounds to the side of us. And then maybe a second later, right behind us, it's pitch quiet. And all you hear is this very low, very quick growl. Mm-hmm. Or what we think is a growl.
Yeah, it sounds spooky, but it could be nothing. We don't know.
Because we were listening to it back home, and we heard it real quick, and I'm like, what was that? And then we played it back, and we were like, what the fuck is that? So then we called Matt into the room, and he's like, well, it's a car. I'm like, no, the cars were the beginning before that. He was like, oh. He's like, well, was it a plane? And I was like, a plane would have kept going. You would have heard it completely pass over us. This was a very quick, low-toned. But we do have the video, so we will post it.
Oh, yeah. Sam made this great, fun little video showcasing
a little Ghost Adventures parody.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Be on the lookout. But yeah, that's what we did last week, and that kind of wrapped up our day. And I would love to go back during the day when it's not pitch black and I'm not scared.
Maybe
I'll probably still be scared. But
maybe if we get out of here before 7.
Yeah, we could. We still could. We'll keep you updated. Yeah. We'll bring a flashlight this time just in case. It's gonna be
Chewy.
the middle of the day with the flashlight just in case. Yeah, so
let's wrap this back around and go back to our first stop, which was the Hot Wells Ruins.
Yes, so here we go. In 1992, the Southwestern Lunatic Asylum, now known as the San Antonio State Hospital, was searching for a new water source. They began drilling in what is now the southern part of San Antonio, right into the Edwards Aquifer, which at the time was still a bit of a mystery. So if you're not familiar, if you're not from around here, the Edwards Aquifer is the most prolific artisan aquifer in the world. And I remember like being a kid, and at school one day we had this whole day of the Edwards Aquifer, like learning about it, and geologists were there showing us like the rock formations and like the limestone that creates the aquifer. And it's a very sciencey and really over my head, but yeah, I got to skip school, so it was fun.
You appreciate it now.
Yes, I do. I get excited hearing about it. So the Edwards Aquifer is, in like regular basic bitch terms, this huge hole underneath us that's full of water, and that's where we get our water from. Like it spans like over 1,000 feet of Texas, or 1,000 miles over Texas, and that's where we get our water from. So like Austin gets their water from
under Texas.
Under, yeah, it's not over. God, we'd be Noah's Ark if it was over. And then even in my small town in Sonora, I believe we sit on Edwards Aquifer also. And then we have a cavern in Sonora, which kind of shows like how porous it is underneath us. But that's a little bit of a nerd rant. It's a great source of drinking water because of all the limestone. Like when it rains, it goes through the ground and the limestone kind of purifies it and makes it drinkable. So once the drilling started, sulfurous water bubbling at 104 degrees Celsius began pouring out. So it's like jackpot, because back in those days, back in the 1890s, sulfur baths were considered to be like all the rage. Like you got, I don't know, any condition, oh, you got skin problems, like take a sulfur bath. Oh, you're missing like your right toe, go take a sulfur bath. Yeah, like they seriously thought this would cure everything. But I mean, they do have some benefits now that we know a little bit more. Like some of the healing benefits include treating skin irritations and infections such as rashes and eczema.
Did you say treating?
Treating.
Oh, I was like,
sorry about that. Treating. So,
how often do they change that water?
So if you sit in it and someone else has a skin condition, you swap it. I'm just kidding. That's really gross. But anyways, no, you don't swap. You treat skin irritations. And then it helps your body relax, which benefits many aspects of your health, like sleeping and nutrient assimilation. But anyways, that's just what prompts you when you Google sulfur baths.
I think I need a sulfur bath.
Yeah, it sounds nice.
Yeah.
But anyways,
wait, doesn't sulfur smell? Sulfur?
That's what I thought. I think there's a little bit of a smell to it, but it's nothing like in science class, or you smelt like the little sulfur rock and it smells like eggs. It doesn't
slap you in the face?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh my god, could you imagine taking a bath and coming out just smelling like a boiled egg?
Gross. No, that'd be awful. Because I know in Colorado there are a lot of hot springs, and I went to one, and I don't remember smelling. Like, you definitely wanted to kind of rinse off after, but... Good questions. Anyone out there, please tell us.
Sulfur experts.
Sulfur experts. Yes. So, due to the hype, the asylum decided to lease the well to a local businessman who turned the site into a popular attraction. By the late 1900s, investors secured a 25-year-long lease to the asylum's magical waters, which also allowed them to complete a bathhouse and 3 public swimming pools. In 1902, Otto Kohler, who...
You'll hear about in my story.
Yeah, because he just so happened to also be the founder of the Pearl Brewery, which, I mean, he was a brewer, so my kind of man. He turned the spot into a hotel, the Hot Wells into the hotel. So the hotel was built around these 3 pools. The hotel featured 80 rooms with individual telephones and steam heat, which was super luxurious in that day. Like, you can call... make phone calls from your room. Wow, people were just so
living
amazed.
large.
Yeah, I never answer my. No, just kidding. I do. I always forget that there's like actual landlines in hotels.
I know.
Anyway, so investors secured their own well on the property eventually, since it became so popular and the asylum water was no longer piped in. By 1908, the hotel had expanded to become one of the largest in the Southwest, and the site became a popular destination for the powerful and famous. a railroad tycoon by the name of E.H. Harriman commissioned a sidetrack built to the site. So he was like, okay, I need this in my life all the time. I'm going to build a fucking railroad. Like a train track that goes directly there. That is crazy. So this spot was like popping. Although
that's being extra back then.
Super extra. Yeah, I can't think of any place where I'm like, I need direct access.
Oh, are those the tracks we passed when we got into the entrance?
That's a good question.
Because those are the only tracks I've seen near there.
Yeah, it might have been. Now it's probably... They probably used it after and, made good use of it. But yeah, once you get to the site, which is still standing, kind of, you pass some railroad tracks, so that's probably it. But although the spot was booming, things took a turn in 1920. Any guesses why? If you ask me, I probably I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
The Alamo? No, I'm just kidding. We know what that is. But in 1920, the prohibition started.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Gee, oh my god, I should know that.
No,
my story deals with it.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
It's okay. We're not there yet. But yeah, prohibition. So that was a big bummer because, when you go on vacation, you like to booze it up, which makes the story boozy all around. So without alcohol sales, the hotel started to plummet a little, and then people weren't frequenting as much, or weren't coming as frequently because, you dry vacation. Nobody wants that. So the property sold in 1923 for conversion to I had to look up this pronunciation, parochial institute.
Parochial.
So that means a church parish. Yeah, turned into housing for those who belong to the church. So the hotel served as a dormitory until it was consumed by fire in 1925. So that didn't last very long.
No.
I know. Man, it was so popping, and then it's church time.
And just, no.
Not happening. In 1927, tourist cottages were built around the grounds, and guests were allowed to use the swimming pools. So it was the hotel around, the building around was burnt, but cottages were built in that surrounding area, so they can still access the pool. And then the Edwards, and then traveling way back later, in 2013. I'm doing a big jump here, but Edwards Aquifer Authority found the well was irreparable and was turned off. So it had a really long run, the well itself, even though the buildings around it burnt down, the well itself had been running for 120 years.
Do you think the entrance to the wells was that little section we saw that was gated off with in the floor?
In the floor, once we walked around to the back?
It looked like a well, but it was completely
Oh, that.
I wonder if that was where they pulled the water from.
Because I would think that it would come through the pool.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, because when we walked around, there were these big circles, ring-like, like the movie The Ring, wells beside us that were
Samara was about to climb out and kill us.
Yeah, that there was kind of a little. It was blocked off though. I'm like, ooh, a grill, a barbecue grill. That's not a barbecue grill. You can find what is left of the once luxurious Hollywood hotspot, which we'll get to the celebrity visits here in a second. But if you want to visit, it's at 5500 block South Prescott Street in San Antonio. Fun fact, it was available to the public for the first time on April 30th, 2019. So this year. If we did this a year ago, we wouldn't have been able to go. I mean, I'm sure you could. Yeah, I'm sure you could. But now it's a site where they preserve it, and
there's lights.
Yeah, they installed lights. So now that I kind of talked about the technical history of it, let's talk about the celebrities that once frequented the hot wells. And then I am going to post all of my sources on our website, but this was from nowcastsa.com. I kind of just grabbed their excerpt from it because it kind of just lists all the people that were there, or all the fun things that happened while the hotel was still running. So in 1906, the Cincinnati Reds baseball team conducted its training camp at the site. In 1911, a silent picture, The Fall of the Alamo, was filmed there. A film studio and production facilities for Gotham Pictures Company were planned for the area in 1916, but to be called Gotham City. So that was cool. I was like, ooh, a little Batman-y. I didn't really look into Gotham Pictures Company, so now I'm interested. Now that I'm reading it out loud, I'm like, huh. The resort attracted celebrities such as film director Cecil B. DeMille and actor Sarah Barnhart, Tom Mix, Douglas Fairbanks Sr., and Rudolph Valentino, who's the only one, sorry, that I recognize. Politicians such as U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt and Porfirio Diaz, the president of Mexico, also visited while it was standing. But if you are a true crime / paranormal junkie, you'll probably be familiar with Rudolph Valentino.
And if you don't know what he looks like, Google him because your eyes will be in for a treat.
Yes, he's very nice to look at. Well, I mean, with a name like Rudolph Valentino,
he better be nice to look at.
Exactly. I'd be so disappointed if he just like, I don't know. I couldn't think of anybody that I'm disappointed to look at. So this is from... I don't know why I'm laughing at this, but this is from unsolvedmysteries.com in 2003, and man, that website, you can tell it was like they have not touched it since 2003. Very basic, very good stuff. But just a little side note on Valentino, just because I think his story is really interesting. In the 1920s, the super hunky Rudolph Valentino visited a jeweler in San Francisco and was immediately drawn to a specific piece of jewelry in the shop. But the jeweler was hesitant to sell it to him because he claimed that it was cursed. But the idea of a cursed ring only made Valentino more attracted to the ring. Like, he was like, ooh, well, I like curses. Yeah, he's like, yeah, let's do it. Then things took a turn for Mr. Valentino. He was in the film The Young Raja, which was a failure. Like, it totally busted right after he purchased the ring, ironically. And then he wore it in his last movie, The Son of Sheik, only to die shortly after of acute peritonitis while still wearing the ring.
What's that?
Peritonitis? I had looked it up. Or actually, it was, I looked it up when we were at the Wells, and then, of course... Peritonitis is inflammation of peritoneum, typically caused by bacterial infections, either via the blood or after rupture of the abdominal organ.
That sounds awful.
That sounds like a terrible way to die. Very very cursed. Like, that sounds like you can only get that if you're cursed. So then the ring was passed on to one of his friends, actress Pola Negri. She fell shortly ill after, but recovered. However, her career did not survive. The ring was given to young singer Russ Columbo, who reminded her of Valentino, probably also very handsome. He soon died in a shooting accident. Still proud of his ring. So,
where's the ring now?
We're about to get there. Yeah, because this is a long track with the ring. The next owner was Columbo's friend Joe Casino. He placed the ring in a glass case, but succumbed to temptation to wear it. He was killed in a traffic accident 1 week later. I hate that. I hear bare naked ladies 1 week in my head after reading that.
It's been 1 week since...
Yeah, it's been 1 week of him wearing that ring, and then he died. But Casino's brother, Del, owned it after. Del? Was that all they gave me? D-E-L? He was a skeptic to the ring's murderous history, but put it in a safe after wearing it proudly for some time. It was robbed then by James Willis. I'm telling you, this ring has a long trek. Who set off the burglar alarm of the house and was shot dead by a policeman after the alarm went off. In the thief's pocket was the ring, of course, so he had it on himself. He had it in his pocket when he died. The ring was placed back into Casino's safe, but was borrowed by small-town director Edward Small, who planned to use it in a movie on Valentino's life.
Why?
Don't do that.
Don't you get a replica of it made?
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
I get being authentic, but...
It's a little too much. An unknown who passed the screen test named Jack Dunn wore the ring during the test, only to die a fortnight later of a rare blood disease. Jesus Christ. casino regained the ring and placed it in a safe deposit box in Los Angeles bank. According to Unsolved Mysteries in 2003, the ring is still there, but it's actually not. Oh, wait, just kidding. I was thinking of a painting that donned the ring in the painting that went on for auction in 2017, which I thought was kind of cool. That's the picture I want to post on Instagram. Is there was a painting of Negri, the first owner after Valentino, wearing the cursed ring, and it was up for sale or up for auction in 2017, according to The Guardian, and it was believed to have started in the bid started at $15,000. So this was a pretty pricey painting, but I guess the ring is still in that Los Angeles bank. Huh. So yeah, that was just a little side note. I thought that was interesting. But of course, there are podcasts that cover it in extreme depth. I know My Favorite Murder, I believe, covered it.
Oh, I haven't heard that one then.
I think, I want to say. But yeah, so if you want to hear more information on that story specifically, definitely check that out.
Spooky.
But, well, yeah, that's a good segue. You're like, okay, we heard about the wells, we heard about the pool, we heard about Valentino, but what makes this boozy? Of course, it's haunted. Supposedly. So, according to KSAT 12, some visitors have never left San Antonio Hot Wells. The Hot Well Conservancy Board president, Dr. Yvonne Katz, expressed in the article from KSAT that they have received reports of paranormal activity going on in the ruins. Justin Parr, a caretaker at the Hot Wells, has also expressed feeling as though there is a presence. He adds that the presence is a friendly one, though. Yeah, one story he tells is that of a woman who can be seen standing in a window, but all the windows are currently closed shut, like the windows that are there. I don't remember. Well, yeah, there were a few like window openings.
But it's all ruins now, so there's not like a complete room per se, so.
Yeah, so it'd be hard for like an actual person to be standing in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he claims you can see like a woman though.
It's creepy.
Like through the windows. Let's see. Oh, the night KSAT.com's Erica Hernandez and Adrian Garcia visited. San Antonio paranormal investigators may have caught that woman's voice in electronic voice phenomena, or EVP recording. So that article that I'm going to post on our sources, you can click on it and see the video that KSAT had recorded. And they even had psychic Tamara Johnston also pick up the presence of a man she believed was named Nick. SAPI members believe there are several spirits that haunt the place, and pictures taken at the site show what looks like orbs floating around. So yeah, that article does have the pictures of little orbies.
I'll post those too.
Yeah.
But we did not get any orbs.
We did. Photos. Well, yeah, it was also during the day.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Orbs can show up during the day, but I think they're just harder to see. Yeah, we are not paranormal investigators. Like, I can't stress that enough.
We tried.
Man, I cannot believe me, like myself. I was all at the Donkey Lady Bridge for a total of 4 minutes, and I was trying to go to that overnight Black Swan Inn experience. I wouldn't have lasted. Jeez. But anyways, these hauntings kind of remind me of this is a stretch, but The Shining. You know how it's a hotel? Mm-hmm. Have you seen The Shining? Oh, okay. Well,
I've seen little tidbits of it, but I haven't.
I went on this like whole debate with our friends Zach and Gabriel the other night about The Shining, because I saw it and then I'm like, this sucks. Mm-hmm. But Zach claimed that it's the best horror movie ever made. Shout out to Zach if you're listening to this. And then, of course, I had to dive in and look at a bunch of YouTube videos on the symbolism in it, and I'm like, wow, it actually is pretty good now that I'm paying attention and thinking about it. But one of the ideas of it is that the ghosts, like, they're the ghosts that live there, that have been there before, and it kind of reminds me of like residual hauntings. So perhaps that's what's going on at the wells. Like, people went and had a good time, and
the happy memory.
Yeah, like their presence being there. Because, I mean, if you don't know, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the residual hauntings is like something that happened in a previous life just happening over and over and over again. Like, we're still, those people that lived there before still, like, leave their mark on this earth.
Their energy.
Yeah, and it's just kind of a loop of what's going on. So maybe they're still living it up over there, and that's what they see, because supposedly these are happy, fun ghosts who are just having a good time, and it's probably just them vacationing.
Swimming in that pool.
Yeah, over and over again. That's kind of nice.
That seems really nice.
Yeah. I hope I haunt Disney World.
Yes.
Maybe like
Forever on the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, like, supposedly, like, every now and then someone sees this woman with 2 beers in her hand and, like, Mickey Mouse ears that look like conchas.
And a churro in her mouth.
And a churro in her mouth. We don't know how she does it, but ooh, it's spooky.
You just have little floating churros all around you.
Yeah. Man, yeah, that's what I hope happens to me.
That sounds bomb.
But yeah, those are the hot wells of San Antonio. And if you're in the area, go check it out. I think it's cool.
You can even have a little picnic there. They have little tables and all that. It's pretty cute.
You just can't bring your bouncy house.
Yes. No bouncy houses.
It was listed as one of the rules.
And no alcohol on the premise. You can do it in the parking lot, like the security.
Oh, yeah, when we rolled up. The security there, I believe they were security, or like the groundskeepers. I wonder if it was the one that was in this article. I kind of wish I went up and asked them. But I didn't want to interrupt them. They were in their truck just having a few
cracking
brewskis.
a cold one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a Tuesday at 2:00.
Yeah. They were living their best life. So.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the ghosts appreciated that.
I'm sure.
But yeah, okay, so that was the wells. We have some fun pics that we took, and we'll make sure to post those.
For sure. This one's definitely going to be picture heavy. Okay.
Oh, it's so beautiful. This hotel. Yeah. Anyways, not my hotel, your hotel. My hotel, there's not much left.
So, my story is the Hotel Emma at the Pearl. And for anyone who's visited San Antonio, it's nestled in the center, and it is one of my absolute favorite places here. I literally take everyone here. The food is amazing. It's hipster as hell, but there's just so many photo spots, and the atmosphere is wonderful. Oh, I'd also live there if the damn apartments weren't more than double my mortgage payment.
Oh my gosh.
But
I know.
That being said, one of the reasons I do love the Pearl so much is because of the Hotel Emma. And at around $400 a night, I'll just gawk at the lobby. I don't make the big bucks enough to even stay a night at the Hotel Emma.
One day,
for sure. The Pearl Brewing Company began production of Pearl beer in 1886 with, guess who?
My guy.
Otto. Yeah.
I was like, shit, what is his name?
So Otto Kuhler, our guy, was the president and manager of the brewery, and was one of the only 5 Texas breweries to survive the Prohibition. In 1985, Pabst purchased the Pearl Brewing Company, moving production to Fort Worth, and the San Antonio brewery closed permanently in 2001. And then in 2015, it was reopened as the Hotel Emma. But what's so special about the Hotel Emma? Do you know?
It's really nice, and you can take your mimosas inside. And
do you know they give you free margaritas at 3 p.m. if you're staying there?
What?
Right?
Oh my gosh.
This place is bomb.
Instead of having a wedding, I should have just got like 3 rooms there and just drank margaritas.
So, before the Pearl Brewery ever became ever so popular, the spot was merely background noise to a story about love, murder, and 3 women all named Emma. Because Otto was a dog.
A smart one, though.
Not really, actually.
Well, I mean, first impression, I'm like, dang, you found like 3 chicks you were into all with the same name. Like, did you do that on purpose? Because, I mean, I feel like cheating takes a lot of work, it seems like. Because then you have to remember the names. You have to make sure you don't call your, like, wife or husband, like, that name of your Sancho or Sancha. Like, that'd be so hard.
Well, that's why you don't do it.
True. I'm just saying, like, he skipped a lot of hurdles by just finding Emma's.
He was sleazy, but he didn't have any brain. I'll just tell you that. So, I'll try not to confuse you with the names, but it might get a little confusing. So, the story begins with our first and most prominent Emma Kohler. And this badass took over the Pearl Brewery after her husband Otto was killed in 1914, and we'll get to that. She successfully led all her employees through the Prohibition era without firing or letting go of a single employee.
Dang, how did she do that?
So when the Prohibition hit, instead of, just trying to make ends meet with whatever was left over, she put in over $1 million out of her own pocket into the company, and she started doing like non-alcoholic beers. They started doing ice cream and just sodas, just anything to keep production up. But before that achievement, we're going to go back about 4 years. So Emma Kohler was in a car accident and required full-time care at home. Her husband Otto hired a home nurse who was also named Emma, but she went by Emmy. And not to fall into the stereotypical I'm banging the nanny and I'm banging the nurse genre, but since Slimeball Otto began messing with Nurse Emmy, we're going to hit into that stereotype. And then Emmy introduced Otto to her friend, the third Emma.
Whoa, they were friends.
They were best friends. So Emmy introduced Otto to her friend, the third Emma, and this third Emma was tall and blonde. All reports say she was like hot stuff. So Otto set up the pair of Emmas into a house on the city's south side, which makes me wonder, when did the first sugar daddy happen? Because they were doing the sugar daddy game way before sugar daddies became a thing.
I'm pretty sure it's always been a thing. I mean, if you think about it, women had to get married for the resource of money.
That's true, yeah.
So everyone was a sugar daddy before women had the right to work themselves.
That's true, yeah, for sure.
Which, is that really a win? There's days where I'm like, ugh.
Well, I mean, they weren't married to him. They were just kind of...
Oh, I see what you mean.
Here's a house. Go do your thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, mistresses...
Oh, that's...
I don't know. Just like, how much money do I have? Like, how much money would I lose, like, giving? Because you couldn't divorce them either back then, because nobody wanted to marry a divorced woman. I think that was just kind of like it is what it is. You just kind of accepted it.
So on November 12th, 1914, Otto visited the house, and some sort of argument occurred between Emma, number 3, and Emmy, and in the heat of the argument, Emma, number 3, shot him dead. When police questioned her, all she said was, "I'm sorry, but I had to kill him." So, we don't know what this argument was about or what occurred. All we know is that she shot him dead. So, Emma number 3 was charged with murder but fled to Europe to help as a World War I nurse. Which makes me wonder if Emmy and Emma number 3 met in, like, the hospital as nurses or something like that.
Yeah. Because she was a nurse also.
She was the at-home nurse for Emma number 1.
Middle Emma was a nurse first, and then she just brought over her friend, like, to work, or
she just introduced him to Otto, so I'm assuming she was a nurse too. 4 years later, Emma number 3 returned to the Alamo City and was found not guilty by an all-male jury, which makes me believe she was probably pretty dang hot. Later, she married one of the jurors, and she moved in with him into a little house on Hunstock Avenue. And Emmy, number 2, the middle one, got married and was never heard from again. So Hotel Emma was named after Emma Kohler, the first Emma, before opening in November 2015. And a drink called the Three Emmas memorializes the women at Sternworth's bar inside the hotel, which that bar is beautiful. Like, it takes my breath away every time I walk in there. If I could live in a room, I would want to live in that room. So, according to the Hotel Emma website, the hotel is named in honor of Emma Kohler, a towering figure in Pearl history. While other breweries were shutting down, Emma kept her entire workforce employed. She turned over control of the company to her nephew in 1933, but was a formidable president at the brewery until her death in 1943.
It seems like they put up a little ofrenda, like, at the Pearl Brewery. That's really cool.
They even sell a kit on the Hotel Emma website of, like, to make your own ofrenda and all that stuff.
Aww.
So, yeah.
That's cute.
But it's a very short Hotel Emma story, but that's Hotel Emma.
But it's a very interesting one.
And
I love how it overlaps.
Yes. Supposedly, the Hotel Emma is haunted. Matt has heard firsthand accounts of people talking about how the Hotel Emma is haunted, but I can't find anything online. So
yeah, we actually went on accident because we thought it was on the top. We confused it with another hotel that's supposedly like the top in the world or the nation here in San Antonio. And then when we were at the Hotel Emma, we're like, oh, let's read up the story. And we're like, oh, this is not it.
This is the wrong hotel.
But we still found some true crime there, thankfully. Which, I mean, just going is nice. Like, I enjoy just being there because even if you're not staying at the hotel, like in front of the hotel, there's Southerly, which is a brewery also. It's a brewery and like fine dining restaurant. It's really good. And then outside they have like a Southerly bar where you can order drinks. And here in Texas you can't walk around with your drinks, but I guess at the Pearl, because it's privately owned, maybe you can walk around with your beer. So you can take your drinks and like go inside the Hotel Emma and like sit and just
chill out.
Look. Yeah, I think Hotel Emma's connected to Southerly, I believe.
Yeah, I think you can walk through.
You can go through the back. Yeah, it's just really nice, and kids take their parents take their kids, and
there's a lot of people with dogs.
Lots of dogs.
Yeah,
so it's good for like just people watching and chilling on a Saturday.
And the food there, oh my gosh, there's some burgers in the food court, not inside the Hotel Emma, but kind of near in the little grass section. There's like a little food court area. Those burgers are amazing.
They're pretty good. But side note, I wanted to see pictures. I like to see pictures as we go, because typically Sam and I don't know each other's story until the day of recording. So I was trying to look at pictures, and then I stumbled upon this article. Well, it's kind of a blog, so I don't know how legit it is, but it's titled "The Strange Tale of Scientology, Otto Kohler Jr. and the Pearl Brewery Fortune."
Oh my goodness.
So we'll have to dig in a little deeper and give you some more updates later.
Yeah, on our update episode.
Yeah, but if you want to share some pics or even strange tales of the Pearl Brewery or
any
your
spooky happenings
or your donkey lady sightings, please let us know, because obviously we didn't see much because we didn't give her any time to
we
ran
we galloped out.
We did. We did. Oh geez,
is that it?
It's just in a Facebook post, but I was like, oh, I don't want to be all sappy, but
oh, like my post.
no, yours is good. It was just like short and to the point. But what I was gonna say on the post was, it's like way back before, I don't know when, like I was always like a super confident person. But like these past few years, like I've developed like anxiety and like I have all these ideas, and it's always like you always hear the voice in your head like, oh, that's stupid. Like, so I've always wanted to do a podcast, but I always felt like, oh, like no one's gonna listen to me, this and that. But we had like an overwhelming amount of like listens and likes, and just thank you for even just a like is appreciated, and just listening to our podcast every week. Like I really appreciate it. It kind of goes to show that like taking that leap, if you're nervous about anything and you have, that anxiety and that voice in your head saying like, oh, that's silly, like that's never gonna work, like just doing it's worth it, because obviously it proved that people do listen, and it's only gonna grow from here.
It only goes up, like my mama says.
Oh, I know, her little comment. She's so sweet. Yes, so thank y'all.
Yeah.
No more sappiness.
I had been thinking about doing this podcast since January of this year, and I didn't make that post reaching out to Ollie till June, July. Like,
No, it was probably like, let's say like May, at the end of May, maybe early, June.
And that it simmered for so long, and like that doubt was just what I was like, no one's gonna listen, I'm gonna sound awful, it's just not gonna work, no. And then finally I was like, fuck it, like I'm just gonna make the post, and if no one wants to do it, that's fine. And thank you for doing this with me.
It's
so
like, just do it. I'm like Shia LaBeouf, like, oh.
Do it.
So whatever ideas you have brewing in your head, just
do it.
Just do it. Make your dreams come true. Nothing is impossible.
All right. Well, that wraps us up. Thank you for listening to our show and our Kumbaya session at the end.
Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode. You can find us on all our socials at Booze Podcast. That is BOOZ Podcast.
Find us on Instagram, Facebook,
Gmail,
Twitter. Yeah, send us your stuff on Gmail. We appreciate hearing from y'all. We love hearing from y'all.
I got so excited when I see those little messages pop up. I'm like,
Make our day.
Someone took the time to like message us, you know. So thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.